There are 4 big reasons why millennials may never have enough money to retire.
I'll tell you what, this is a big deal because millennials, it's a huge part of the demographic. In 2022, Vanguard analysis found that American workers ages 25 to 34 had an average of around $37,000 saved in their 401k plans. Boy, Pete, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah, and assuming that they're going to need maybe a modest retirement income of $50,000 a year, they're going to need over $1.5 million to retire. So they are not well on their way. They are well behind. And so that's a problem. And so what are they doing with their money instead if they're not saving for retirement? Well, 15 million millennials still have student debt. More than any other generation, and the average balance is $33,000 per person. So if it's a couple, then you've got $66,000 in debt just from student debt.
Yep, been a little bit of a reprieve on student debt payments, but that's set to start again. So that's going to add back into that budget. Number 2, 82% of millennials say that they would buy a product the first time they see it if they liked it enough. So not a whole lot of discipline here in terms of delayed gratification.
No, it's all about impulse buying here, and that can be a problem. I mean, you purchase all these things that you probably wake up later, whether it's a week or a few months later, and realize you didn't really need that and you're not getting the value out of it, and those monies could have been put into retirement or some other thing. So again, it's a good idea to take a little bit of time, at least 24 hours, but maybe even a few days, if it's not urgent, to really consider, is this the best use of the money? And then Instagram and social media has influenced a lot of this immediate buying. Just swipe to buy, and then it's done. It seems so easy, but it's money you can't afford to give.
Yeah, at that point, 48% of millennials say that they've spent money they didn't have to keep up with their friends, okay? I remember somebody told me something not long ago. This is a good thing to keep in mind. It costs a lot of money to impress people you don't necessarily like. Another quote to remember is you can play now and pay later, or you can pay now and play later. The bottom line is, if you spend all your money now, if you play now, not that you can't have any good stuff, you're going to pay later. The bottom line is you've got to be a good saver. So if you're spending money to keep up with your friends, this is probably a bigger problem than what you may realize. And literally what you're doing is you're putting your future, your family's future, retirement future at risk. Not a good idea.
No, and 2/3 of millennials have credit card debt that they're carrying over, and the average balance is over $5,000. That's $5,349. And those monthly interest charges, well, they add up. And John, interest rates have gone up, and so people are paying more for things they purchased and used up and probably don't even remember months or years ago. So if your credit card has a revolving balance, it's hard to make progress in other areas if that's where all your money goes.
Yeah, and then you talk about balance transfers and all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line is, if you have credit card debt and that's continuing to add up, that's really putting yourself behind month over month. And I would say, Pete, that right now we know that credit card debt is near or at an all-time high.
Yeah. Just
generationally and across our country, at a interest rate, probably 18 to 20%. I mean, do you know how long it takes you to pay debt with an interest rate that's 18 to 20%? Credit card companies, they're not your friend. They're not looking out for you in their future. What other thing would you have in your life where you would finance it at 18 to 20% interest? Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Thanks for watching Retirement Talk. Subscribe here on our channel to get all of our latest episodes.